Despite all the talk of protecting IVF for the second time in the last 3 months, Senate Republicans blocked a bill that would federally protect in vitro fertilization. Now, it's technical, but because some people seem to be confused, let me clarify what actually happened today. Republicans tried to use a procedural maneuver called unanimous consent to bring up their own IVF bill for a vote. That bill was not on the docket to be voted on today, so their maneuver was blocked by Democrats. Then the Democrats' IVF bill, which was on the docket for a vote today, failed when Republicans blocked it. Now, back in June, when both Democrats' IVF bill and Republicans' IVF bill was on the Senate docket for a vote, both failed. I told you all about that in this video back in June. Back then, Democrats say they voted against that Republican version because it did not do nearly enough to protect IVF. Now, back to this afternoon, the Democrats' version of the bill went up for a vote again and failed again. The vote was 51-44. The bill needed 60 votes to move on to the next step. 46 Democrats, 3 independents, and 2 Republican senators, Murkowski and Collins, voted yes to move forward, and all 44 no votes came from Republicans. 5 senators did not vote. Now, before you say this bill brought by Democrats must have been full of a bunch of pork, let me clear that up. It did not. This bill is intentionally only about IVF. The bill would have done several things, but generally would have given any individual, including members of the military, the right to receive these types of fertility treatments from authorized healthcare providers or continue to receive ongoing treatment if necessary without any prohibition, limitation, interference, or impediment from any government. The bill would have also made sure that Americans can make their own decisions about donation, testing, use, storage, or disposition of reproductive genetic material, including sperm, fertilized eggs, or embryos. It also establishes the right of the healthcare providers to offer these types of IVF treatments and storage as they see fit, and said if group health insurance companies provided OB coverage, they must also cover IVF treatments. There are obviously some limitations to that, but generally the bill would have required coverage. Now, this bill, if it was passed, would override any state law that may be restricting IVF in any way. The bill's sponsor, Tammy Duckworth, a combat veteran herself who has talked about her own IVF journey, slammed Republicans for voting against her bill. Again, especially after former President Trump has promised if he's elected, he'd do much of the same things included in her bill, including making insurance companies pay for IVF treatment.
I wasn't asking my GOP colleagues to head into combat to show that they cared deeply too. I wasn't asking them to do anything hard at all, actually. All I was asking them to do was to simply support a bill that could have represented millions of women's only chance of starting families. All I was asking of them was to vote in a way that reflected the position they claimed to have when they were spouting talking points on Fox News. They couldn't even do that.
So the question is, why did Republicans vote no? Senator Katie Britt said Republicans are not against IVF. That's not what this is about. She said they're against this particular bill.
Yet we're going to have a show vote when we've been talking and saying that we want to protect access to IVF. But yet no one is working to actually get to the 60 vote threshold, which makes me wonder how serious my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are about this.